Go.
Welcome to Not a Great Whisperer podcast with your host, Katie Ray, me, your favorite. I have Dan Kurtz here today. I have so many good things to say, humorous things as well. Very intelligent person, worked for me, which is hilarious because he's well over, what's it when you just like, you're overqualified for a position, but he worked for my team, which is amazing because I love that we have that to laugh about when I'd be like, hey, why are you so smart? But he joined the podcast today. We're going to talk about all the things. And thanks for joining, Dan.
Yeah, no problem, Katie. Absolutely.
Okay, so let's just jump right in, right?
Yep.
Do you want to laugh a little bit about when I first interviewed you and you probably laughed at me because I was like, what did you do?
Yeah, sure. I mean, that was half the fun, was just sitting there in the interview and saying, hey, look at all the stuff I can do. And you going, what?
Okay. Why do you want this position?
Yeah.
So we worked for a marketing agency and I ran the lead generation callers and he was applying for the lead generation, but I knew he belonged in the agency side on the marketing. But I just didn't know where because I didn't know that side of the business as well. And I was just like, wow, there's just so much there. What am I going to do? So he started off on my team, which I absolutely love because he just taught me easier ways, more productive ways to do things in there, especially because he knew all the systems in and out. But it's fun to watch you branch off on your own now and kind of see where it's taking you. So tell me a little bit about what you're doing now.
Sure. So right now I'm in the process of helping different types of business owners, entrepreneurs, and a few different corporate clients that have come my way in the past few weeks to actually get their systems up and running and automated. One of them, I believe you were reached out to by the same person I was. And they're looking to develop an entire North America team. But right now they're in the process of having me work with their South American team to develop SOPs.
Awesome.
They were having something like...
Which are what?
Standard operating procedures for stuff.
Some people who don't know.
Yeah, they were having problems with their reporting. So we did a little call the other day just for about 45 minutes and found out that the entire team was working 12-hour workdays to make ends meet.
Oh my gosh.
So
how does that feel now to be able to help so many companies separately, like on your own?
Fantastic. Just to know that I can go into a business like that and help a team of, I think it was like 150 people to get 4 hours of their day back.
Yes.
Every single day, which is...
think about how much they're working too.
Yeah, it's insane. And with, $250 and a little spit and polish, they're able to get that entire part of their business completely automated.
Yeah, it's insane that you know how to do that so quickly for people.
Yeah, it's been kind of
Well, it's been hard though going out on your own.
A little bit too, but it's kind of been a process ever since I got into the marketing and automation type stuff. I've been doing it for 12 going on 13 years now. So I've learned all the bits and pieces and I kind of save it in my head. One of my friends described it best as I kind of work like Tony Stark, in that I take everything and kind of draw like an exploded diagram of it and figure out which pieces I need and then Rubik's cube it in my head and then put it back together like, okay, this is what you need. That's just kind of how my brain works. And that was probably the best description she could have given me.
That
I
is
was like,
awesome.
That'll work.
Oh my gosh. Shout out to that friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's actually a perfect description of you. Every time we were like working on any processes internally at the call center, you're like, we could do this instead. And I'd be like, no, I didn't know. How about you show me what we could do? But that's so good, just the production and to be overseas, right? So there's nobody managing that and to do 12 hours when you could do it in 8.
Yeah.
And not be, and you're giving back people personal time.
Yeah, exactly. And I know for that team specifically being based in South America, it's kind of, family comes first. And with them spending 12 hours a day, just trying to get their baseline work done, not even going above and beyond.
Yeah.
I knew I had to kind of step in and do something in order to help them to get back on track.
I love that. And, you learn so much from your previous job experiences, but a lot is your self-taught, right?
Yeah. 100%.
So you just focus on researching what's going on in the industry?
Not even. So
No?
I got started when I first got started. It was actually back in college. I was going for graphic design at the time. And that was the year that everybody started outsourcing to the Philippines and India. So I realized that I'm not going to have a job very much longer. I'm going for a degree that's not going to exist. Of course, we know now that that's not the case. But at the time I was like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
What do I do? I need to make a livelihood. So I switched gears and jumped into marketing and tried to figure out what the next big thing was going to be. Got into the internet space. I'm like, okay, this seems like it's going to go somewhere. It's got some legs. And just jumped in and found and started reading everything I possibly could about how to build a website, how to help people do hosting, how to get them phone calls, how to all that stuff through the internet. Not knowing that smartphones were going to take off and go the direction they have. Everybody is glued to those things now. But just being able to jump in, take a look at that technology, and then figure out what the best case scenario is for a business and what parts they need and what parts they need to automate and what parts they don't need to look at all, but still need to get done.
Yeah. And you did that on your own, kind of observing?
Yep. Yeah. Actually caused me to drop out of college because I was spending so much more time actually working and acquiring clients than I was actually doing the classwork. That basically I just kind of bounced out of there. I was like, okay, I'm done.
I got a lot of clients right now, so
it was like I'm making money, so I'm just going to leave the student debt right here.
You can have that.
Yeah, you guys can keep that one.
Well, I mean, it worked for you, right?
Yeah.
And now you just are utilizing social media more.
For the most part, yeah. Social media, a little bit of outreach, and then once in a while, a lot of referrals and networking type stuff.
Always networking.
Yeah.
Do you just feel like you're always on?
Yeah, pretty much. There's never a moment where I can shut off. There's I'll be hanging out with friends. I'm like, I got a great idea. And I'm like, Dan, shut up.
Yeah, you're like, but if someone needs to write this down, I don't have a notebook.
Yeah.
So do you feel like there's so many things you are going to progress and do, but you're where you want to be on your own entrepreneurship, focusing on helping multiple companies at a time. Is this your focus?
Yeah, yes, primarily. Just because for me, it's never really been about the revenue or the bottom line or what I'm doing for myself, but the ability to be able to jump in and actually help those people get where they need to be. A lot of folks, they jump into business because I want to do this or I want to do that or I want to make X number of dollars a year. And for me, it was more like, I can't stand corporate offices. They suck ass. And I would rather go out and help people.
Tell us how you really
feel. What they do. Yeah. It's just not, I know there's people out there that love their jobs.
I get it. The micromanaging. It's like, you got to do your own thing. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's one of those things that I've just never been wired for to be in that environment. And I know you know that very well.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think I've noticed it most is like I jumped from Tesla to a medical marijuana dispensary thinking that, oh my God, this isn't going to be corporate. And then noticed it was a corporate structure. And I was like, what did I just do again?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I love helping people. So the helping the patients part was like everything.
Yep.
But I thought like getting out of my wheelhouse of like rep teams and this and that would be totally different, but it's still corporate.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, this is what I want to do. And the micromanaging part, like, you're going to get the work done. That's why I love when it's like, you need to watch your team and make sure they're working. Like, no, they're adults.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
And they could be able to do it in like 4 hours.
Yeah, exactly. That type of thing.
Which you probably found that out easy.
Yeah, there was a lot of that going on. I think after you had actually left the agency, there was a bunch of stuff that they were still looking to automate and get running. So I jumped in there and did it. And then by noon, I was sitting there twiddling my thumbs. And they were like, what are you doing? I'm like, well,
watching Family Guy episodes?
Yeah, pretty much. I was sitting there just watching Stewie run around. Just like, oh, we're going to have so much fun. So we're literally sitting there pretty much by like noon. Yeah. I'd go to lunch and I'd come back and I'd just watch Netflix for the rest of the day. And people were getting mad. I'm like, what do you want me to do?
I'm literally done.
I finished everything for the month.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you just let people who work hard and have just been wired to work hard and get to their goals or understand what they're doing, like don't make them sit there and literally just waste time because they could be doing so much more stuff. And you had to kind of go through the corporate to also get a feel for how to help corporate offices.
Yeah.
So that, is an experience you probably are like, hell yeah, it just helps me know what works and what doesn't. To be able to kind of go on your own. And it's a hard process. Like, it's not, you didn't just like fall into it. You worked to that level.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And people are always like, yeah, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, but how are you going to get there?
Yeah. They just know, I don't want to work a day job. Okay. Well, neither do 300 million other Americans. What are you going to do differently?
Yeah.
So it's that thing. And a lot of people just kind of jump into it like, I'm going to do this thing. And then they get into it. And 6 months later, they've had shiny object syndrome. Geez. Shiny object syndrome the entire time.
I want this.
Yeah. I'm an agency. I'm a branding expert. I'm a Facebook marketer.
How do you feel do people reach out to you to get feedback on what they're doing and how, now that you're kind of like out, to certain groups you've networked with? Like, do people reach out to you for feedback, kind of understanding?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
So I'll sit down with them, usually like on a 15-minute call, take a look at what they're doing and just be like, okay, well, here's your pain points. You're missing this, and this. This is what you need to work on. And then usually they're like, can you do that for me? Because I have no idea what those are. I'm like, okay.
That's awesome.
So, and it's not trying to, I'm not,
You're not trying to sell it. You're literally just telling them what you need to get there.
Yeah, it's like, here's the holes in your boat. Go get some wood and patch them up. And they're like, but I don't know how to sail the boat. I'm like, what are you doing with the boat?
Yeah. Where the hell's it going?
Yeah, exactly. It looks great on land.
What do you think's the greatest lesson you've learned from this journey of kind of going on your own?
I think the best thing that I've learned is that if you are passionate about what you're doing, you will never work a day in your life. And you've met some of my partners.
Yeah.
You've met Chris.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you've met Trish. I'm not sure. But basically, we hang out pretty much every day. I'll go do my stuff in the morning. And then by like 2-3 o'clock rolls around, Chris and I will go hole up in some co-working space or some cigar bar or like Armature Works or something like that, and just bang stuff out for 4 or 5 hours. And we've gotten an entire day's worth of work done in just a little over half the time. It's crazy.
That's awesome. So you'll go do what you're doing, like consulting wise, or contract wise, and then you'll kind of do what you need to do over like big picture.
Right, exactly. Because we're running a bunch of different things. I've got my personal brand. Chris has his personal brand. We've got,
and you have that trust in each other. Like, that's important. And people don't realize like they are people cheering you on and helping you out. Like it's not always a competition.
Absolutely. One of the other lessons that I've learned, and it took me forever to learn it, is don't do everything yourself. Even if you know how to do it, write it down, record videos, train somebody else how to do it, because not necessarily because you are relinquishing control, but you are spending time doing menial tasks that you can teach somebody else how to do and pay them for it, and they'd be more than happy to help. So doing that, like, for example, working with Chris, we have cross redundancy in everything that we do. So if I can't do it or I can't get to it, or same with him, either one of us can pick up the slack and make sure that we check off that box for the day and know that it's getting done. So it's just a handoff and a redistribution. So like if I have to go do a speaking gig and Chris has to go do the work for the day, whatever, it winds up working out that way.
That's so important.
Yeah.
What got you to Florida from New York, from Long Island?
Just the expenses, really. Okay. I was tired of paying how much I was paying in tax up there because it's exorbitant and everything is super duper expensive. And I decided, hey, let's try something else. So I wound up moving down here.
Big change.
Yeah, 6 years ago last month. And just kind of took to it. I was doing my own thing.
It's only been 6 years?
Yeah.
Does it feel like forever?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. But then you realize that at the end of this year, we're hitting a new decade.
Yeah,
so,
you're right. Never mind.
Crazy stuff like
you're
that.
Right, never mind.
But yeah, so moved down here and just I've been having a ball ever since. Met the right people, met the right business owners, and it was a perfect storm of things moving down here. I was kind of tired of the types of relationships and friendships that I had in New York, just very closed off, very self-serving, and coming down here and finding people who are actively wanting to give, actively wanting to participate, and just genuinely like want to hang out with you. And that's another thing that a lot of people don't realize, either in their own lives or in the entrepreneurial space. It doesn't matter which, but you need to go and find like-minded people that you want in your tribe, and to have those people closely knit. Like if you can't go out, I look at it this way, especially with doing the client work. If I would not go out for a coffee or dinner or a night out at the bar with a person, I don't want them as a client. Exactly. And it's not to be mean to them. It's just that I vibe with my tribe, and I stick with them, and the people that do come to me are the people that I want to have long term.
And you can create that boundary. Like
exactly.
You're not under a corporate rules and regulations. You know who you want to work with and who you don't. And even if you're like-minded to a point, like I'll hang out with you guys and I don't know everything you're talking about, but it makes me better because I'm like, wow, what is that you're even saying? Show me in a visual, please write a diagram.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think that's important to have those people that help. And even on my language, like you're running agencies, but are you running people on the phones all day? Like, are you, so we are able to like bounce off each other, and that's so important. And you're so right. Like, I'm not going to take on this client if I don't want to even talk to them.
Yeah. And that's been a big mindset shift for me, because coming from the kind of, I guess, almost like a broke mindset of taking any client that comes through the front door, regardless of, seeing all the warning signs. It's like just going on a date with a hot chick because she's hot. And you're like, oh, she's a stage 5 clinger. And she's probably going to take a golf club to my window. Like that type of stuff.
It's good that you've grown.
Yeah, it helps. And that was definitely in part with the Guerrilla group. I think you're in that group with me, the Getting Clients Without Being Salesy on Facebook. Just hanging out with those guys and watching what they're doing and seeing how those people are working in the space. And then there's also there's a private group in there that I've been a member of for, I'd say, a little over a year now. And there's some fantastic people in there doing amazing stuff. Just people reaching out to them and closing 4, 5, 6-figure contracts without even trying to. Like people just coming to them and saying, I want to work with you because of you, all these awesome things you've done. And they're like, oh, cool. Well, it's going to be X. And they're like, yeah, sure. Cash or card. It's just crazy that once you find those people and you start resonating with them and just talking and having that conversation, that they just kind of want to jump in. They're like, okay, cool. You're awesome. Let's go do this thing.
Yep. And it's nice because you know the value you bring.
Yeah.
But it's also, it shows that you know that you're growing every day and you're not going to be closed-minded towards that feedback or learning something new. And I think people who start running their own business or doing their own thing sometimes become not as successful as they can because they think they know everything. And you're intelligent. You do know a ton of stuff, but you also know that, hey, I can probably learn something from this person. Yeah.
One of the biggest things, and again, this goes for pretty much everything in life, is removing your ego from every conversation that you have. If somebody says, oh, well, we should do it this way, sit there and find out why.
Yep.
Ask questions. Don't be the person who says, no, we've done it this way forever, because that's how Rome fell. That's how they got conquered. We've always done it this way, and it's never going to change. Like be open, be receptive, see what somebody might be coming in with new technology that you've never seen before. Somebody might have developed a process or a patent or a trademark or something that you can use in your business, and they might be the person to display it to you. And if you shoot them down, that thing might never make it to market.
Yeah.
And that might be something that everybody could use. And it's just keeping that open mind and seeing that with anything, be it with friendships, relationships, business partners, all that sort of stuff, and just listening and seeing where that can fit into the puzzle that you're trying to put together of your own life and just moving forward with that.
And that's so important too, because people might first meet me and just be like, oh, they think they're a know-it-all. And they don't realize no, I'm just educating you so you can educate me.
Right. Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
And that's super important. I like these little lessons being learned today.
Little nuggets.
Inspiring, those little nuggets. Remove your ego. Boom. And it's funny because we've had bosses that can't remove their egos. No shout outs right now. But I totally get that. And it's important because I feel like just like every time I interview someone, it's fun to hear a new story or a new little nugget. But it's crazy because I feel like people are put in your path, to learn something from, to experience something. And even though I was your boss, I was intimidated by your knowledge because I'm like, I got to learn more. I need to understand what process he's talking about. This could help somebody. So it's very intriguing. It's good to inspire people too every time you meet them. And we all come from so many different backgrounds. You came from Long Island of Florida,
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, complete jump.
And your family's there?
No, we actually all moved down at the same time.
Love it.
So we just decided we're done with it because I guess my dad was working in New York and realized, hey, I can save 30% and I get 30% more of my income if we just move. Yeah. And he's got a job where moving like that is fine because he's a commercial airline pilot.
Oh, okay.
So he, it just changes which base he reports to.
Isn't
So
that crazy?
Now it's Atlanta instead of JFK, things like that. So he does that. So it was really keeping the same pay grade and all that sort of stuff and being able to
just saving
and do it. And I didn't have that luxury. I was working at an agency full time in New York, and I was the head marketing guy for this team, maybe about 25, 30 people. And I was in charge of marketing and optimizing 5,000 websites every month, and figured out through scaling and systems and automation how to be able to hit those numbers without having a team. Literally it was me and the computer next to me that I had set up to help me do the work.
And without that little experience too.
Yeah.
Automation wouldn't have been as clear to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. And what do you think? What's your next goal?
So
it's a good question, right? Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. So actually the next goal, and it's been a work in progress, and I'm still piecing it together. But I've been watching in a lot of arenas where entrepreneurs and business owners and corporate wind up hanging out, and just finding the things where people are getting hang up or stuck on, or things that they don't know how to do.
Like stopping them from growing, you mean?
Yeah. So like, for example, there's a lot of people in the entrepreneurial space that I'll sit down and talk to, and they don't have a website. They don't have social media presence. They don't have anything set up at all.
Crazy, right?
And which is fine, but they have this knowledge in their head. And I'm like, oh my God, you should be selling this.
Yeah.
You should be doing this thing. And they're like, but I don't want to be on the phone. I'm like, you don't have to. You sit down, you record it once, make a video course out of it. Because most of the time that knowledge isn't really going to change.
Which I'm doing now because you told me to.
Yeah. And so what I've been doing is going through, I have probably over 1,000 hours of recorded client calls from over the years. And basically just going through those and taking bits and pieces and nuggets of questions that people have asked, compiling them and turning them into a full-fledged course on that one topic. So one of the ones I'm working on now is actually, because you've probably seen me troll posting people online about not using Facebook ads or SEO. And the reason that I was been saying that is because there are an infinite number of websites out there. And
SEO, search engine optimization.
Right. Yeah. It's gaming Google. So
Sorry
you
for
don't have to
acronyms.
No, you're good.
Gotta help people out.
Plenty in our industry.
I know.
But so what I've been working on is actually trying to help people go from completely relying on SEO and PPC and teaching them that if you go to any website on the internet that matches your target market and you find out where your customers are hanging out, and you just start posting there, people will start coming to your website. People will sign up. They'll do consults with you. They'll do all that stuff. You don't have to have a budget of thousands of dollars a month in order to get started. You don't need to hire a full-scale agency in order to start doing SEO. You can do it grassroots, at least to get the ball rolling.
Yeah, and then, of course, look to an agency, trusted agency. Yeah. But, you can start somewhere.
Yeah, instead of taking...
It gives people hope that you don't need all this money right away up front, that you can grow your business and then invest.
Right, exactly. So doing the grassroots first, which a lot of people miss the mark on. So one of the things that I'm actually teaching in the course is that there's a piece of software out there that anybody can go grab called Buzz Bundle. And what that does is you plug in what people are searching for the thing that you do, and it'll go find the places where people are already having that conversation, and then it allows you to jump in.
Oh, wow.
So instead of you having to go through Facebook and go
through Twitter,
forums
or
all of it, the entire internet. So video sharing sites, forums and blogs, all the social media channels that are out there, and then on top of that, Q&A sites.
And people think it's crazy to find these little nuggets, because it's like people are thinking like you and creating something.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Like it already exists.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about it is that it was being used at one time by IBM and Disney. So it's got huge reach and huge implications. So if you want to get started with something that's super duper easy, they have a free demo that you can get off their website.
Didn't you do a training session with Chris recently on that?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And that came out successful.
Yeah. Yeah. We had a lot of people.
It's like a class, right?
Yeah. The local SEO meetup that we do. Yep.
I love that. That's a cute little goal to have. It's like minor. It's really small. Really proud of you.
Yeah, but that's the short-term goal for me, is to be able to help more people. So I've been recording courses and putting video series together so that people, if I can't get to them, they have the knowledge and they don't have to go back and listen to a recorded call and say, what was he talking about again? They can just kind of like...
Yeah, and you'll have access to more people at once.
Yeah, so ideally that's the first step in it. And then eventually, I'd say probably in the next 2-3 years, I'd like to turn my personal site into kind of the Netflix for that type of thing. So people would pay a monthly subscription and they'd be able to have access to all of my courses and all of my content.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that this way, I want to jump into this, or I want to
And if they want to do stuff on their own, they have the tools.
Right, exactly. So, hey, I want to go and build, let's say it's an entrepreneur and they know that they can sell this thing that they know how to do, but they're not sure how to set it up.
Do you see yourself having people under you, like more team members?
Potentially. I would say probably somebody for like support.
Yeah, I feel like because you teach so well, that'd be nice for other people who want to get into this space to work under you.
Yeah, or I might even make something later on, who knows, about actually helping them to set up their own version of it.
Yeah.
and just say, hey, here's the tools, here's the templates, here's all that sort of stuff. Not ClickFunnels.
Not ClickFunnels.
No, not ClickFunnels.
Okay.
And I have nothing against Russell or his team. I think it's a fantastic product. I just don't think that you should hedge your bets on somebody else's platform. And that's been another point of contention for me is don't build your business on the back of someone else. Because if Facebook decides to go down or they change their terms of service or ClickFunnels does something weird where it goes down for 96 hours again, you're dead in the water for that time.
And it's someone else. It's like you have to blame someone else.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like not yours.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, hosting's cheap, $5 a month, and to get WordPress is free. And if you really need marketing tools, I think it's like $199 to have the same functionality that ClickFunnels has. So instead of paying them $1,000 for the year, you could do it on a shoestring budget for about $150, $200 out the door.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So completely, and you have the same access to the same tools that ClickFunnels already has built in.
But that takes a lot. So someone has to be really focusing on their own business.
Right.
And just have a good work ethic.
Yeah. Well, think about it this way. If you spend $200 to set up your website and put all the ClickFunnels-esque stuff into it, you have the other remaining budget to put a designer in there who knows how to use that system and just have them build it out if you don't want to do it. So now you're leveraging your time and you get more out of the deal.
Yeah, I love that.
So
let's see. What do you want? All right. So what do you want the audience to know about just kind of hitting your goals? Like, what's your kind of go-to when you feel like you're in a rut?
Sure. So for me, I tried to make it a little bit less monotonous, I guess is the way to think about it. So every day I set for myself 4 goals. I set one short-term one of something that has to get done immediately, one midterm goal. So that could be something that I want to have done in the next 3 to 6 months.
Every day?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'll complete, my regular tasks that I have for the day. And then I'll go for what my 3 to 6 month goal is. And then my long-term goal, which could be a year plus. And then one thing that I want to do that day.
So with your long-term ones, are they usually the same?
Yeah.
For like the first week or like in a week?
So the long-term goal is actually what I'm building towards. So like in this example, it would be building out the Netflix style course thing. So I'll go in and do half of a course in one day, or I'll go and do 3 or 4 recordings for the day, or I'll go in and teach somebody how to build a podcasting automation system or something.
Have you
like
been
that.
successful with these goals?
Yes.
Awesome.
So I have them.
Even while taking on contracts?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, so I make sure that I have time for my passion projects and also for driving everything else that I'm doing forward.
So you don't feel like you're working. You're actually doing what you love.
Yeah, exactly. And then depending on what it is, like I'll put the personal goal for the day, either early in the morning so I can get it done and be like, okay, cool. I got what I want done. Now let's help everybody else. Just because
awesome.
That kind of helps to build drive. Because a lot of people, they get up, they're like, okay, first thing I'm going to do is help clients. I'm like, first thing you should do in the morning is take care of yourself.
Yep.
Get up, shower, have a coffee, go to the gym, whatever it is. Do your thing and then come back and do that thing you're really super passionate about.
Yep.
And then now that you've got that creative spark going, go and jump in and do everybody else's stuff because now you've already got your juices flowing.
Yeah, and you get that
love.
like hype, like you're hyping yourself up.
Yeah, you're just like, yes, I did this thing. And now you
So awesome.
and now you just blow through everybody else's stuff. And you'll find that at the end of the day, you might be done by 3, 4 o'clock and you've got the rest of the day to do what you want. Like, cool, I'm going to go to the beach.
And it keeps your momentum. For you, you're like, I'm going to go out and network and talk even more business, but you just keep your momentum going. It keeps you like moving.
Exactly. Like I'll just do it till I burn out, which is fine. But I try not burn out in the Gary Vee sense burnout.
Yeah.
Doing like a live stream of a Snapchat to an Instagram while being on Facebook at the same time. But there is definitely that entrepreneurial burnout that you have to worry about that a lot of people forget. They're like, oh, you working 18-hour days. Like, no, don't do that anymore.
Yeah, I get that. And what do you, when you are like in like a little bit of a rut, what's your like motivational tool? Is it listening to somebody? Is it music? Is it like, what's your go-to?
99% of the time it's music. Just because, and this from me having headphones all the time at the old place.
Hey, Dan, is he listening to me? Dan. No, he's on his headphones.
Yeah, no. But definitely for me, music is a heavy, heavy motivator. So if I wind up in a certain spot, I'll throw on a mixtape or a playlist or a DJ set that I've done. And I'll just either do that or I'll take it and go to the gym and just go do, deadlifting and all that sort of stuff until I'm just like gotten all the frustration out of my system. Like, oh, look at all that blood flow. Now I know what I want to do for the day.
That's good.
So
it's good to know when you're in that little bit of a rut because every day sometimes the same or it's not. But if you're trying to, wait on a contract to close or something and you just kind of need to get out of that, it's good to know where to go to. It's healthy.
Yeah.
Do you feel that your support system in Florida has been stronger than New York?
Yes, very much so. Just because there is very much a larger entrepreneurial community here.
Mm-hmm.
And also there's just being in some of the groups that I'm in and finding the people that I've found and then meeting up with them locally has been fantastic. Because trying to do the entrepreneurial thing and not be in an office, not have coworkers, all that sort of stuff. A lot of people are like, oh, I can't stand it. Me, I'm the person I can kind of flip. I'm like an ambivert. So I can either go out and have a ton of fun with like 50 people, or I can just be completely okay for 3 weeks at home by myself and not shaving. Like it really depends. So
it could be something stuck in my beard. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, oh, look, a cheeseburger. But things like that. But having other entrepreneurs that are facing the same struggles and the same dead space in their business and all that sort of stuff, and you guys go and hang out and like go get a coffee or go get a drink or whatever, and like, oh, I'm having this problem in my business, and then being able to say, oh, I've already done that. If you do this, and this, you'll be able to fix that problem. And then
just bouncing off. Yeah,
exactly. And then they wind up whipping out their cell phone or their tablet, and they're like, oh my God, I'm going to do this right now.
Yeah.
And we're like in the middle of like a 4-star restaurant or something like that. I'm like, dude, come on. I appreciate the hustle,
note down,
but just audio recorded.
Unnecessary.
Yeah.
I love that. So I love that you've been on the show. Let's go over like handles, your company, all of that. So Facebook is your main go-to for everything right now, right?
Yep.
Dan Kurtz.
Yep.
Boom. Kurtz.
Yep.
Super hard to spell Dan, Dan.
Yeah.
But you're on Instagram and you are on LinkedIn and you have all of your social media set up, but you do a one focus, right? On Facebook for
right
videos
now,
and live.
For right now, it's Facebook. It's probably going to change in the coming weeks to be between Facebook and LinkedIn.
Okay.
And then from there, just pretty much building out my personal site, which is going to have all the stuff housed on it.
Yeah.
So that's dankurtz.org.
.org organization.
Yeah, well, because the .com, the .net were taken.
What? I took your name. No, they did.
Some was like a mathematics professor or something like that, and I emailed him about it. I was like, "Hey,
can I have your?"
I was like, "Hey, we have the same name, and you haven't updated this since 2013. Can I have it?" And he was like, "I'm not sure I want to part with it yet." And then he like built some like dummy app for the phone, and he's like, "Oh my God, this thing took off." I'm like, "Look." Like,
hey, you haven't used this in years. Can I have my name back?
I'm like, you still haven't updated your website. It still has pictures of Galapagos
tortoises. Have you tried DanielKurtz.com?
That takes way too long. And besides, everybody calls me Dan.
I get it. I have a short name, Katie Ray. I get it.
Yeah.
Totally get it.
It's either Dan or hey, asshole.
Yeah,
Depends.
no one calls you Daniel. I just like to say Daniel sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so dankurtz.org, which totally works. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then Facebook to see some of your videos, your Facebook Lives when you go. You started your courses and training. I saw that 1 week course you did.
Yeah.
So that's really good.
Yeah, that was I started doing the 30-day one and then wound up having a little bit of burnout because what had happened was I had started doing the 30 days and then at day like 10 or 11, I had to stop because I had people that were reaching out and were like, I want to book a call. I want to do this. I want to do that. So I didn't actually have time to go live because people were reaching out quickly from it.
It worked.
Yeah. So for anybody listening, definitely Facebook Live is a massive tool for your business.
I gotta use it. And Dan's tip of the day.
Okay.
So hard.
Well, it depends because there's so many different things that you can do. I would say probably
life tip of the day.
That's even worse because you know what some of those could be.
Business tip. Just pick a tip of the day.
Sure. Okay. So business tip of the day, actually this fits into all three. So if you are looking to do more and spend less time doing it, I highly recommend taking a look at If This Then That. The web address for that is IFTTT.com. And you can basically automate the way your home air conditioning works. So if you're out for the day and you realize you're going to be driving home from a commute, when you get within a certain distance of the house, it'll turn the AC to the right temperature.
Without Nest.
Yeah, with Nest.
Okay, with Nest.
So any of those Wi-Fi type things.
I got
but also super business tip for it because it can automate like start your coffee maker when you wake up and do this and do that and turn the light in your house blue when your Uber gets there and stupid things like that. But it's also a really good business automation tool. So like, for example, if your platform of choice is, let's say, Facebook, You can also have it set up to auto post that to Pinterest and automatically share it to your LinkedIn, and then automatically post a copy of it to your Instagram, and then to be able to tweet it out automatically on Twitter. And
I've seen it. You
Yeah.
show me it.
Yep. And just by doing things like that, where you can step in and do less posting, get more exposure, and be able to take more of your time back. Because a lot of people spend a lot of time on social,
Yeah.
but they spend it doing stuff like, oh, let me copy this over. Oh, I forgot the emojis when I copied it over.
The hashtags.
So yeah.
Ugh.
So instead of doing all that, you just use something like if this then that, and it'll just do it for you. You just tell it what you want it to do, and it goes, okay, cool.
IFTTT.org.
Com.
.com?
Yep.
Your .org, Dan Kurtz.
Yep.
I love that tip of the day. It's life, business, all in one. Dan, thanks for being on my show.
Absolutely,
This has
Katie.
been super fun.
Good.
Of course, I'll see you soon.
Oh yeah.
But again, dankurtz.org. Jump on Facebook. Check out his videos. We are Not a Great Whisperer podcast. Instagram at Not a Great Whisperer. Check me out on katieray.com, REY. And at The Real Cray. Dan, you're the best. A little Stewie goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody. Have an excellent day.
And then we're serenading you out with Morty's music beats. Thanks for joining. Bye.